Chapter 3. Making Home. A few weeks passed living in the new house. I never accomplished what I so eagerly expected over the winter, which was setting up and decorating my bedroom. I had huge, ridiculously huge plans a few months ago, and now I'm not more motivated to carry them out. Today I most likely will not do it because Steph's coming over and I must help her not get sick. We have made plans for her to spend a couple of weeks at my house. Her mother and father must work in the health department. Steph could be at risk of getting sick by the near-curable virus. A couple of weeks went by, and we hear a couple of weeks might do it. That's what Steph's father told my dad. So she'll be at my house for a while. She's going to be sleeping in the room next to mine. My father recently put it together. He put an extra old bed and dresser he had stored in the garage. Ring, ring, and the doorbell rang throughout the house. Jill, Steph is here, my mom yells from the front door. I rush out of my bedroom and rush down the stairs. Steph, I say, noticing her purple hair in the bright sunlight. We got a room prepared for you, I say, reaching out my hand to grab hold of hers and again leading her up to the stairs. You're gonna love being here. The room you'll be sleeping in is right next to mine. I suddenly notice she has no personal items with her. Steph, where's your stuff, I ask. My dad said he'll bring it over later. We were in a rush coming over here. Okay, good, I answer. Anyways, this is your room, I say, opening up the door to a spacious room, 3 stories above the ground. Wow, Steph says, this room is huge. Yes, it is. The whole building is huge. I bet if we get lost up here, it could take days before we find our way home, I say in a giggle. Why don't we go out into the backyard, possibly even explore the forest out back, I say. Okay, Steph answers, you lead the way. I took hold of Steph's hand and walked her outside. Hot air meets us on the other side of the front door. The smell of fresh forest growth filled the air. Okay, I've not really gone back here. I've not had the time since the move, I say. Decided to take Steph around the backyard and show her some of my dad's work in the backyard. My dad has big plans for this place, I say. He's not stopped talking about it since we moved. I led Steph to sit down on the grass that had recently sprung up. Last year's grass made a crunch sound as we sat down. The smell of spring was all around as if winter's forest festivals were being cleaned. I take a deep breath, fresh air full of life, knowing I had something special. More than special, but the essence of life, the beginnings of life. We stared at the small stream just feet from where we were. It was a couple of inches wide, fresh runoff from the recent snow. I looked behind me in the back of our recently purchased house. I say, Steph, look back, look how big our house is. As big as a movie star's. You're right, how did your dad get such a place for such a cheap price, Steph replied. I do not know, but he mentioned something about it being part of our heritage. I didn't get it, I say, as I looked behind me to see what made the creaking sound. Steph, look, I say, pointing to a door I've never seen before. Steph looks behind her. What? She asks. The door, I didn't notice it before. Plus, it's open. We should go inside and look on the inside. Maybe my dad just went in there, I say. We get up off the soft grass. We approach the door that's partially open. Dad, is that you? I say as we enter the dimly lit room. Wow, Steph says under her breath. This room is beautiful. Look at the piano, I say as I touch one of the keys. The room looked in good shape. Small streams of light lit up the room. Decorative curtains hung up in the window. Some still shut. Paintings littered the walls, beautiful paintings. The room looked as if someone was recently staying in there. Coffee cup was on the kitchen table. Coffee was still on the inside. Paperwork was everywhere. And the way it looked, important paperwork. Steph, it looks as if somebody was just in here, I say quietly. Yes, you're right. Maybe it's one of your dad's relatives. We should go back outside, I quietly whispered to Steph. We quietly, excited, exited the same way we entered, leaving the door open in the same manner as we found it. Once we were several feet away from the house towards the stream, beforehand, that we were sitting at, I say, that's so weird, I can't believe Dad did not mention that room. The furniture must have been in there because I don't remember your family having had that type of stuff, Steph says. Maybe he doesn't know about it. Let us go ask, I said. We rushed into the house, keeping our mindset. Dad, I say in a loud voice. Yes, girls, I'm in here, my dad replies from his library. Upon entering the room, Steph says, wow, you sure have a lot of books. Wonderful job, Dad. This room looks great, I say, adding, did you know about the room out back of the mansion? The one with the huge lock? Yep. But the real estate dealer said there's no key, so I have not gone inside. But maybe there's a treasure inside, my dad says playfully. That's so weird because Steph and I were just in that room and it was not locked. Come with us, we'll show you, I say. Surprised, my dad follows us, saying, I do not think we were talking about the same room. I looked and there was a big old lock on it. We rushed out back, leading my dad by the hand the whole way. We get to the door. I look my dad in the eyes and point to the doors. I say, look. It looks the same way as it did, Jill. It's got a big old lock on it, he says while grabbing hold of the lock and giving it a jingle. Surprised by the look on his face and hearing the lock, I look towards the door. He's right, a big old lock was on the door. It was shut so tightly one could not even peek on the inside. I looked at Steph. We were just playing, Mr. Flippy, Steph says, making an excuse. She was remarkably familiar with being blamed for things she did not do. Jill's dad laughs, saying, girls, and walks back into the inside. Thanks, Steph. I'm guessing you would not have believed this, I expressed. Exactly. We're probably overtired or something. I mean, look at the lock. It's huge and spiderweb's still on it, Steph says. Maybe you're right, Steph. Why don't we go into the forest and play out there? Maybe we'll be inspired to do as we wanted, which is build small little houses in the trees, I say. Okay, Steph answers. We move some twigs and bushes out of our way as we enter the forest. Wow, this is beautiful, Steph says as she looks at the sunlight sparkle on the forest floor. I bet Tom would love to come out here with us, I say. Look over there, that's a great spot, I say, pointing to a patch of pine trees touched with love and capable of holding little houses. Well, what do you want to do again, Steph asks. See if Tom wants to come over here and build little houses in the trees, I say. We could make them really nice, we could make a lot of them. It would be nice like a fairy tale woods, I say to Steph. Okay, where are we going to get the wood and nails, Steph asks. I see some at my house, but I do not know if it's enough. But I bet my dad would know. Perhaps Tom has some as well, I say to Steph. Okay, Steph says, agreeing to build. We will build in this spot, Steph says, pointing to the patch of pine trees. Let us go talk to your dad, and then I will call up Tom and see if he can spend a couple of days over here at your house, Steph replies. We rush out of the forest and back into the inside of my home. While Steph calls Tom, I decide to quickly ask my dad if there was extra wood or nails that we could use for our tree forts. Dad, I say, Steph, Tom, and I are going to build little houses in the trees. Do you have any wood or nails that we can use? Definitely, Jill. Do you see that old shack by the tennis court? Yes, I reply. There's a ton of stuff in there. Use whatever you want, Dad says. Thanks, I gratefully reply, and add, can Tom spend a couple of days over here? Ask your mother, Dad says. On the way toward the kitchen to find my mother, Steph surprisingly rushes towards me. I just talked with Tom, Steph says, gasping for breath. His parents are bringing him over here in a couple of hours. Quietly walks Steph into the kitchen. Mom, I yell, Tom is spending a couple of days over here, I say, hoping she will not wake you up. Okay, Jill, Mom yells into the kitchen and adds, once he's over here, make sure you spend time with Frog and Sally. They've been away from the other children at school, so it's important for them to spend time with you. Okay, I yell back. Let us go up to my room, I quietly say to Steph. So 2 more hours when we'll start building. That's when Tom arrives, right? I say to Steph. Yep, Steph answers. Within a half hour, Tom knocks on the door. Bang, bang, the steel bell hanging on the double doors to the entrance of our house sounds. Steph and I rush towards the ancient staircase. The old wood creaks with each step. I swing open the door. Tom, I say, greeting it onto the inside. Frog, Sally, I yell into the living room. Mom wants you two to hang out with me today. Thinking they might not listen, I add, Tom's here. Both younger children come running into the front hallway. Tom, Sally says. Tom, Frog says. What are we going to do today? I begin explaining it's build tree forts. Everyone gives me their full attention. Dad said the wood in the shed by the tennis court, is ours for the taking. I noticed Frog blink with attentiveness. First plan, we investigate what's in the old shed. Once analyzed, we take what was needed to build the first tree fort, I say. Are you ready for this, Tom? Steph asked. Yeah, I sure am. My dad said I could spend the next few months over here, Tom says. Well, let's go, I say, looking behind me to call my best bud over Beagle. Max, come on, we're going into the woods. Max hears 4 paws running onto the wood-stained floor, and my parents' new home comes running after us. He lunges at the door full of playfulness. I take my right hand and gently touch the top of Max's head. You're such a good dog, Max, my new best friend. Along with Jill and Tom, I say, looking at both, making sure I do not offend their relationship. Max looks me in the eyes, communicating a sense of security, lacking abandonment and full of love. Tom, Steph, Frog, Sally, Max, and I rush towards the shed. Once there, we pop open the old, roughly painted double doors of the grayish-colored painted shed. Wow, this place is huge, Tom says. If your father lets us have whatever's in this first room, just in the first room, we can build more than one tree fort. I did not expect this much wood, I utter. The planks, I say, these will make nice floors, plus they're small enough for us to carry. We can use the sheets of plywood to level everything out, Tom added. Frog and Sally both grabbed one of the ends of the 2x4 and began to walk towards the forest. Are we going in the right direction? Frog yells with his back towards the forest. Yes, I say as I grab a board and lead away into the forest. Right here's the spot, I say, placing my board on the ground in the middle of the small clearing. The sunlight shadows the forest canopy, dancing sparkles of light as I looked around to find a spot to start building. Right here's a good spot, I hear Steph say, pointing to my right. The branches are lowered and bunched together exactly right to place wood on the top of them. Okay, let us get some more wood, I say. Tom, you're gonna have to help me get a ladder. Tom and I rush to my father's garage and we both grab an end of the ladder and begin to carry it into the forest. Here, Steph says. Tom and I set the ladder down. I hold the bottom of the ladder as Tom begins walking the ladder into the trees. He places the top end of it on the thickest part of the branch. This should be safe, Tom says. I climb up the ladder to investigate. The smell of pine was thick as I went up. Wow, I say. There's a whole world up here in the trees, a whole new wonderful world. Birds greeted me with chirps each step of the way in the trees. I gazed around. I think we can just lay the boards over these branches, I say, gazing around the green world of needles made fit for a world of creations. Tom says, from below, we'll start handing you up the boards. Okay, toss them up here, I reply. Tom grabs one of the 2x4-inch boards and hands it up to me. I carefully place it on the branches, and then another and another. Once I had 5 good solid boards in the trees, I climbed on them and stood straight up. Tom climbed up the ladder. I want to see if it will hold your weight. Tom begins to climb up the ladder. Steph follows close behind. Tom, Steph, and I stood on the wood floor we just made and the branches out of the 5 boards. We gazed around the tops of the forest. We had never before been up that high in a forest. There were a lot of new smells and sights, and we had wanted to remain up there. I want to come up, Frog says. Sally agrees. I say we should get more wood up here first. I don't want you two getting hurt. We began to race the clock, hoping to get one good solid floor done before the sun sets. Tom, hurry. Hand me the rest of the wood, I say after enough boards, including a giant piece of plywood, were brought to the spot of the tree forts. Tom hurried to hand me the wood. I lay one board down and then another. It is done. The final piece of the floor was the giant piece of plywood. Tom did that part. In doing so, he almost fell off the ladder. The board was so heavy. Sally, Frog, this should be strong enough now. Hurry up, come up the ladder before it's too dark to see. They both climbed up the ladder together, first Frog and then Sally right behind him. Wow, this is amazing, Frog says, standing straight up in the trees. Sally does likewise. Okay, it's getting dark. We should go inside now, I yell from below. We rush into our lustfully large house, anxious for morning to come so we could build more in the trees. I did not sleep much that night. My mind was too anxious for morning to come. Throughout the night, I made a mental map of what I was going to do the next day, how and what I would build next in the trees. Tom, wake up, I say, walking into the living room. My dad thought it was good for him to sleep on the couch. Tom quickly got up and began preparing himself for a day in the woods. I ran around the house getting Frog and Sally ready. Steph had the same experience as me. She woke up early Anxious to start building, she stayed by my side. Soon as everyone was ready, we rushed out into the woods and began to build right where we left off the night before. Sally, Steph, and Frog carried boards and I put them in the trees. We played, danced, and made lifelong pacts in the woods. We spent 4 days building the forts, and when they were done, they were beautiful, like a fairy tale land on the treetops. We built 3 of them, connecting all 3 with wide boards connecting tree to tree, or rather house to house. From the forest below, the forts were hidden by tree branches, so they were not seen. We told one another nobody would see them either. We did not want to tell anybody about them. On the 5th day of building the forts, we decided to paint them. We found some old paint in the shed, eggshell white. We encouraged one another to paint them. We figured it could be easy after Tom said, "If painting them is too hard, I would just take the cans of paint and gently pour or splash the cans of paint on them." So we did our best to paint the small forts that appeared to be a few boards scattered in the trees. Finally, we were done. "They're amazing," Tom says. Steph agreed. "We will be master craftsmen in our future," Frog added. "Okay, great. Everyone, let's go down and get something to eat. I'm hungry." Everyone agreed. As we make our way out of the tree line and into the backyard, I looked to my right and noticed the door that Steph and I had noticed open days prior was now open. I look at Steph, and with my head I notion to look at the door. She sees and gasps. "Frog and Tom, do you see that?" I ask. "What?" they ask. "The door to our right." Tom says, "The door's open." Frog says, I thought Dad couldn't open that door."